Though not really the most harmful creature on the planet, insects certainly hold their fair share of the unfortunate demises. Throughout history, the upsetting little animal has played a tremendous part in various activities and responses, going from works in the Bible to astonishing models in Egyptian tombs. Insects have comparatively become imbued in legends and stories, for example, the narrator Anansi as a spider, however not a true insect. However, maybe the worst criticism given to bugs is the absolute dread, and possibly unfortunate interest they instill in humankind, giving more than a few us a strong feeling of nervous discomfort. Here are the top 10 deadliest in the insect kingdom. Number 10. Giant Asian Hornet. This massive hornet has the ability to grow a length of 3 inches throughout its lifetime, and has been known in proportions of only 20 or 30 can wreck an entire hive of honeybees. The sting can be lethal, not just by allergic reactions but also due to its many toxins. Here are 4 captivating facts about its sting. 1. Its sting has a higher concentration of the pain-causing chemical called acetylcholine than any other stinging insect. 2. An enzyme in its venom can dissolve human tissue. 3. Containing at least 8 distinctly different chemicals, the venom itself produces one such that actually attracts others of its kind to the victim. 4. Like all other hornets, it can sting repeatedly. Number 9. Hemiptera. The classification of Hemiptera is wide and separated, including all of the so-called true bugs. Most have certain sucking mouth parts that take after the looks of tubes. Most, in fact, feed on plant sap in some form or another, yet a couple, for instance, the kissing bug, feed on blood of larger animals. The bug can transmit Chagas disease. The symptoms of Chagas burden change all through the contamination. In the acute stage, symptoms are mild with swelling on the site of the infected area. As the sickness progresses, over as much as 20 years, the genuine chronic symptoms appear, similar to heart disease and malformation of the intestines. If not adequately attended to, the disease is often fatal. Current drug treatments for this disease are generally unsatisfactory, with the available drugs being highly toxic and often ineffective, particularly in the chronic stage of the disease. Number 8. Safu African ants. One single colony can attack the African field, destroying everything in their path. When there is inadequate food, the colony as a whole will march through whatever happens to be in its path in order to acquire sustenance. The Safu damage up to thousands of dollars in foodstuffs yearly. Number 7. Locust. Though the feeding of locusts isn't known for killing humans directly, yet, this subfamily of the grasshopper is a relentless plant-eating machine. In the Bible, during the plagues of Egypt, the locusts were the 8th plague, conveying destruction on farmland and harvests. This frightening little creatures strip to bare earth thousands of acres of cropland every year, and in very little time, since each swarm can consist of a couple thousand bugs. Appropriately, they can contribute greatly to starvation. Number 6. Wasps. Including the yellow jackets and hornets within the class, wasps vary in that they are relatively social, generally terrestrial, and almost every subspecies has a specific parasite or pest that it preys upon exclusively. Regardless, wasps don't actually look out humans to sting, with the exception of when their territories are being threatened. It is the oft-allergic sting that does the most ridiculously evil. Different people go into anaphylactic shock and die because of a single wasp sting. Number 5. Honeybees. Because of the introduction of the Africanized honeybee, the death toll has taken a sharp rising all through the past few years. Ordinary solitary bees are not known to sting humans for the sheer need to do so, and, even so, they die once the deed is done. Regardless, different people all over the world are allergic to bee stings and can experience anaphylactic shock which can cause death. In any case, rather than those standard bumblebees, Africanized bees or killer bees will attack with the slightest provocation in large numbers, gathering over victim. The death toll yearly has risen to thousands. Number 4. Fire ants. Typically nesting in sand or soil, firebugs make rather huge mounds and feed on vegetation, and occasionally crickets and smaller bugs. When bothered, however, the fire ant sting is a venomous prick that feels like it's burning with fire, hence the name, and swells up into a painful pustule. A couple of little stings can be promptly treated and cured, yet when the ants swarm, which they are more likely to do, that is where the trouble starts. Crops worth millions of dollars are damaged yearly. This makes these ants really fearsome. Number 3. Tsetse fly. Another carrier of the deadly sleeping sickness, that tsetse fly. They feed on the blood of vertebrates. They spread the disease known as trypanosomiasis in humans, by biting their victims and passing it through their mouth parts. Living in Africa, the death toll is that much more immense, killing 250 to 300,000 victims per year. Number 2. Fleas. Regardless, the aggravating little attacks you get is one of the radiant benefits of having a pet. Fleas are clearly liable for the spread of the bubonic plague from their rat hosts, to humans passing on Yersinia pestis. Profiting from the blood of warm-blooded vertebrates, fleas can infest an animal or region rather quickly. If bitten, the wound swells into a pustule and can cause allergic reactions. Nevertheless, due to the spread of the plague, killing millions, fleas can be a terrible troubling pest. Number 1. Anopheles mosquito. Mosquitoes are an awful irritant and, considering the way that they feed on blood, can make an individual upset just by being outside in the right conditions. Eggs get laid and grow in stagnant water areas, and millions can hatch from one spot. Regardless, the most really awful piece of the mosquito is that it's a carrier for blood-borne disease, specifically, malaria. Presently numbering in the different million cases every year, malaria is responsible for more deaths than every other insect combined. This brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also comment what you think is the deadliest insect in the comments section below. See you in the next video.